Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to episode 12 of Three's a Crowd Pod. Today we're going to spice it up for you guys, and we're going to not be going traditionally and talking about pre-picked topics. We will be getting thrown random hot takes by producer Marco. Yes, you will hear his voice, but no, you still will not see his face on today's pod. And please, before we jump into everything, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, write us a handwritten letter, love letter, gift card, cards, email, a fax. We have a fax machine up and running, and look at all the links down below. Maybe you'll get some deals and steals on some thingy things. So without further ado, let's jump into it.
Welcome, producer Marco, everybody. First episode, making a little appearance here as our moderator and the hot take creator for the episode. So like Nick said, we're getting random hot takes for Marco. We don't know what they are. We haven't discussed them. So should be open for some good debates and interesting conversations. And with that, we'll let Marco make his intro.
How's it going, guys? 12th episode. Finally making an appearance other than a wave on my intro. I don't know, how many episodes ago was that? 6 already, or
at least?
I feel like it was like 6 or 8.
6 or 8, something like that. But Ray, do you have any words before we start?
No, I'm glad that your voice is on this podcast right now. Very excited.
I'm pumped to be here. Happy to be a part of this, guys. All right, first hot take, boys. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, it is not a sandwich. The dog is in a league of its own. It is on its own bread. You don't see people making sandwiches on hot dog breads. And if you do, you're weird. It's in a league of its own. It should not be considered a sandwich.
My answer is no. A hot dog is not a sandwich. And the reason for that is a hot dog is a modified hamburger because you have the beef, you have the bun, right? It's just shaped differently, right? You got a different shaped beef, a different shaped bun. If you consider a hot dog a sandwich, then you got to consider a hamburger a sandwich. And in my opinion, we're just not going to go there. We're not going to go there. We're not going to do that. So my answer is no.
I have one question. Then why in sports bars are hamburgers under the sandwich section?
It's true. It's a valid question.
Oh, shit. They are.
It's a valid question.
You know what? I guess there's some people in this world that consider that anything slapped in between two buns a sandwich. But to me, when you get like a BLT, or you get that Italian club or something like that, it's just not the same as a hamburger or a hot dog. And so I have to, if I owned a restaurant, it would be sandwiches, and then it would be hamburger or hot dog, separate section. That should be the way it's done. And Ray becoming a lawyer in the future, maybe we can get some legislation passed that will mandate. You got to separate those things.
I'd like to point out that growing up, Nick had not cheeseburgers but hamburgers, and would only put ketchup on it, and that was it. That was the way that he ate a burger. So he's not one to speak
Those
about.
Those things were loaded
with ketchup. Loaded,
I can picture right now Nick with a McDonald's cheeseburger just drooling with ketchup off the sides. Yeah. Looked like a McRib. That's how saucy that thing was.
Jesus,
two comments. Number one, yes, that's true. Number two, probably around the time I was going through puberty, I graduated into cheeseburgers.
Thank you.
Just like you should. Yeah. So I love cheeseburgers nowadays. And number two, it was hilarious that I liked hamburgers with a shit ton of ketchup on it, because this man right here on this has an extreme phobia of ketchup.
Yeah.
And I'm not even exaggerating. I think if ketchup touched anywhere around his face and lips, he would throw up, and that's not a joke. That is not a joke at all.
He would throw up.
I've seen him accidentally bite into a cheeseburger with ketchup on it, and I had to pull over so he can yak outside of the car. It's that bad.
It's real.
Pure panic mode when the devil's blood hits my lips.
It's real, dude. All right. Anyways, it's a hot dog or sandwich. I want to say no. A sandwich to me is classified as some sort of meat that is not in a singular, not in a tube shape. Usually there's some type of cold cut, or there's some type of cooked meat that is not in a tube shape. If you have a Philly cheesesteak, it's going to be chopped up beef. If you have a pastrami sandwich, it's going to be that cut up, pastrami. Hot dog to me is just not doing it, man. I don't know. I don't see a hot dog as a sandwich. But I was going to say that to me a sandwich is top bread, bottom bread. But then I thought about hoagies, and I was like, that's certainly a sandwich as well. So I'm not going to go there. But to me, a hot dog does not classify as a sandwich. I think that the point that Nick made is correct, where you have sandwiches, you have burgers, you have hot dogs. You're not going to put a hot dog under the sandwich section. You're not going to put a hot dog under the cheeseburger section. So I think it's on its own little classification on the menu.
Last quick comment. Last one. In a sandwich, the meats that go on a typical sandwich, you're not going to throw them on a grill. You throw a hot dog or a hamburger on a grill.
What about Philly, bro? What about Philly?
It's beef. It's beef steak.
All right.
That one. Okay. I see your point. That one, that one's that one could be its own class as well. I don't know. I don't have the answers to the universe, Ray. God damn it.
I guess we have to give those restaurants credit when they just call them handhelds.
Yes, because that's what they are. They're handhelds.
Handhelds. That is a beautiful name. Restaurants. If you're a restaurant owner and you're watching, take some notes.
Handhelds. Yeah. It eliminates any ambiguity in the menu selection process for sure.
All right. Now this one is something I feel very passionately about. Can fruits count as dessert?
Well, as one of the dessert connoisseurs in this world, and somebody who really can't have a meal without a good dessert, I would like to give fruits the pass on this one because they're sweet, they're juicy, like they almost fall in, but they're just not unhealthy enough for me. I feel like a dessert is just pure shit. Like, the shittier it is, the better it is. And I feel like I got to give the strawberries and the blueberries and these fruits the pass on this one and upgrade them. They don't need to fall under the dessert. They can certainly be eaten with a dessert, but it shouldn't be like, oh, fruits are my singular dessert for today. That's a little bit lame.
My answer is absolutely yes. Fruits can be considered a dessert. And I know that not in the American culture is it considered dessert, because like Andres said, it's not unhealthy enough. But in a lot of cultures, fruit is their dessert, and it's like their what do you call it? I'm forgetting the word. Like when something's like their, don't remember the word, everybody, but it's the shit. It's the bomb. And some cultures, that's honey. That's raw honey that they get. That's their dessert. Other cultures, it's just straight up fruit. So I absolutely would consider fruit a dessert, because fruit's delicious. Got sugar in it.
Cusco.
It's a dessert.
Nick,
Yeah.
So would you say the bananas, taking it back a few episodes, the bananas from Costa Rica, are those a dessert?
Dude, to me, that's a dessert all day long.
Absolutely, bro.
Delicious, man.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's unfair, though. As somebody who is on the not fruit diet, and I was there in Costa Rica with Nick, and those fruits were ridiculous, like ridiculously good.
Yeah, I think that the bananas from Costa Rica are certainly a dessert. That banana itself, I'd rather have that banana over a bowl of ice cream any day of the week. But yeah, I think fruit could certainly qualify. If you've ever had some really cold watermelon at night, or some really cold cantaloupe, like that's delicious. Some really cold melon, oh my god, bro! If you put a banana in the fridge, you chop it up, you put a banana, you chop it up, you put it in the freezer. It's like eating ice cream. It's delicious. So yes, I would say that a fruit can qualify as a dessert, absolutely, without doubt.
Haven't tried that one. Might have to. I'll come back
Oh,
to you guys with that one.
got to.
But next one: should Santa Claus's elves get paid minimum wage? I know I'm a little late on the season on this one, but should Santa Claus elves get paid minimum wage?
No, they're hardworking, small individuals.
So what are they,
They're out there.
slaves?
They're out there
So
putting in the time, putting in the effort, making the toys for the little kiddies. So I think that it should be fair pay. If whatever an Amazon worker gets paid, I feel like an Amazon worker is kind of like an elf in my opinion. So hot take there. Amazon workers, you're like elves.
I'm gonna preface: Three's a Crowd does not condone slavery.
No, I was gonna say
We do not.
no. Yeah, I was gonna say like the way Andres was taking that, it seemed like he didn't want them to get paid at all.
No, I wanted them to get paid their fair share. They're hard
Oh, I
workers.
understand. Okay, how does that take away from Santa's profits though when he's delivering the toys? You got to think about that.
Guy's a non-for-profit, dude. He gets a lot of donations from all the governments.
You're right. You're right.
The elves
guess
don't
if
get to
we're-
eat cookies though.
No, but I
Is that-
guess if we're thinking of the classical, the classical elves here, they only eat candy and they eat candy all year round. So essentially, they have a superpower because they're immune to diabetes, which is a nice benefit of being an elf, I guess. And then candy all year round, I guess that's another benefit. And Santa houses them, feeds them, clothes them, provides them shitters and pissers. I guess I would assume Santa provides them with contraceptives.
I'd say so.
Yeah, right.
I was going to go on a different line of reasoning here. Like you got to think about the cost of living, right? So candy's not very expensive. They're not going to be spending a bunch of money on candy. If the living situation is covered by Mr. Nicholas, then they're not spending a tremendous amount on rent. They don't have to spend a lot on heaters. It's very cold in the North Pole, so they're not having to spend a lot of money on electricity. Like Nick said, he's covering the shitters, he's covering the pissers. So really, what are elves paying for, right? So at a minimum, they should be getting paid minimum wage. However, what are they going to leave to their elf children and their elf grandchildren? How much of the
They could be going on vacation with their elf wife and their elf kids.
How much of a legacy can they leave their elf children? Think about it.
Well, what if there's like upgrade options in the North Pole? Like, what if you have public housing? Just like Santa's got the public housing, the Section 8 housing for them. But what about the nice stuff? Like, what if an experienced elf wants to upgrade to a little bit of a pad as he starts his family?
A bungalow.
Dude, what's fucked up about this topic is it seems so like ironic. We're talking about Santa and his elves, and I guess if you think about it, like in the real world, Santa's like the government kind of, and the elves are our parents, everyone's parents. Kids, just kidding, kids. Santa's real. But you guys are talking about leaving a legacy, saving your money. It goes in the flow of what our other podcasts were. So Santa's elves, they work hard. Sure. Give them a raise. Give them more candy. They're immune to diabetes. Why not? Give them more candy. Feed them candy.
I'm with that.
That's all I got, yeah.
All right, next one for you guys. Should the steroid era in baseball come back?
Yes. As a fan of baseball, of course I want to see people with steroids. Are you kidding me? Do you not see how exciting baseball was when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were going back and forward, when the guys in the home run derby look like a bunch of Hulk Hogans? Like, that's awesome. We're fans. We want to be entertained. I don't want to see the guy hit the ball 335 feet. I want to see a 550-foot homer. I want to see 130-mile-an-hour line drives going into the outfield, looking like they're going a bajillion miles an hour. So it's like a choice. Like, baseball is also one of those sports, like, just because you take steroids doesn't mean you hit the ball immediately. Like, you still got to be pretty talented. Like, just because you take steroids doesn't mean just because you can throw harder doesn't mean you're a good pitcher. Like, you still got to throw strikes and have other pitches. So I feel like it'll still be just as competitive.
My answer to that question is no, because the steroid era in baseball never left. It's still here, very present. And the I think the concept of bringing it back, I wouldn't want that to be um, like something that's pushed on players because yeah, you make a ridiculous amount of money, but then to have to go pretty much to compete at that level and kind of jeopardize your health by taking like that amount of steroids, I don't know. I think it's over the top. But I mean, there's always people that are willing to do it and that still do it today. But overall, I don't think it's nah. I'm not for it.
I'm with Nick. I don't think the steroid era ever finished. And I'm sure that there's guys that are still juicing like crazy. I know guys that I played against in high school and football that were juicing, so it's not like it's ever stopped. But whether or not the MLB should condone it, I think that's in the negative solely because it has adverse effects on your health long term, I think. And I mean, you're also creating a divide between the guys that are willing to do it and the guys that are not. And then there's obviously going to be a division in talent between those two sectors of people. So the guys that are doing steroids are just going to get paid more. The guys that are not willing to do it are just not going to get, they're not going to get these big deals because they're not performing as well. I don't know. I think it's just all way too complicated. While, yes, it would be awesome to see everyone go up there and hit fucking 700-foot home runs, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. Even it would be cool. It would be cool.
It would be like that video game, like the Bigs, where you hit the home run and your guy would just like start raging and run around the bases with like fire around him.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I was gonna say that sounds like Slugfest 2004. If you know the GameCube.
That's the game I'm talking about.
Start punching your first baseman while you're on first. That's awesome. All right, next one, and I think we might have someone who's pretty fired up about this one. Steph Curry transcends the game of basketball more than LeBron.
I'll lead it off because I know I'll let LeBron's biggest fan cook up a response. I hate LeBron, so
For no reason.
Steph Curry's way better. He's awesome. He's cool. He makes
He's
a lot
way
of
better.
shots.
He's way better.
Yeah. LeBron sucks.
He's significantly better than LeBron.
Look at the Lakers right now. LeBron sucks.
That means nothing. Look at the Warriors right now. What are you talking about? They're just as bad.
No. The Lakers are second to last in their division.
We're the Warriors.
Middle of the pack.
No, they're not.
So-
I'm going to look this shit up.
Steph Curry, cool guy. I don't really know that much about him, but all the media stuff and everything I see, he seems like a pretty cool dude. Signed to basketball for John Hopkins, and he's played at Lagorce. Oh, maybe we'll cut that out. He's played at the golf course that JR's a member at, and cool dude.
I think it's a fair question to pose because Steph Curry's, I mean, he's a very versatile player, very good all around, but he's known for his ability to make threes and pretty much shoot the long ball, right? Make shots behind the 3-point line and everything. And that's the most valuable shot there is in the game because you get 50% more points for making a 3 compared to making a 2. And then he's a threat because he can shoot the long ball, and that allows his teammates to succeed as well because people are worried about him. So I don't know if he transcends the game more than LeBron, but it's got to be close because they're very opposite players, but they're both very valuable players. So I think it's a tough one to answer, but I don't think there's a definite one way or the other, in my opinion. And also, LeBron does have on his side that he warned Paul Revere, back in the day.
The British were coming.
That the British were coming. So that's a plus for LeBron. But aside from that, it's close.
Also, that he's a really good reader.
All right. Anyways, the Lakers are not last in their division. They are actually 12th.
Third to last.
No, they're not. They're fourth to last, number one.
Oh, sorry, they
Number
won
two,
last night.
they're one game behind the Warriors. It's not like the Warriors are so much better than them. And I'll remind you, the Warriors won the championship last year. So that whole thing, BS. Number two, yes, Steph Curry certainly changed the game of basketball forever. Now people have to respect insane range on the court, like logo shots. People have to respect that because he just made it a normal thing to just start fucking shooting up shots from out there. So people have to respect it. So he changed the game in that sense. People are shooting a lot longer threes. They're shooting a lot more threes. Threes are worth more, as Nick noted. However, in terms of dominance, I have never seen a more dominant player than LeBron James in my life. Never. In any sport. Actually, I saw Tom Brady on this one drive that was like, he had like less than a minute to like win the game. He drove down the field like fucking 80 yards. It was beautiful. But no, I'm talking about in the game of basketball. In my lifetime, don't come after me, MJ people. In my lifetime, I am 23 years old. Oh, I guess Kobe too. Kobe's pretty dominant. Anyways, we're talking about Steph and LeBron. LeBron is a more well-rounded player than Steph Curry. There's no debate about that. LeBron has the post-up game. LeBron has the mid-range shots. LeBron doesn't have the long ball like Steph does. But if we put LeBron and Steph on a one-on-one, who do you think is going to win that game? Riddle me that. Tell me. You're going to tell me
what if Steph gets ball first and just doesn't miss?
You're going to tell me LeBron's not going to put his shoulder down and drive to the hole every single time? Get out of here, man. LeBron is the man. Stop hating on him for no reason. Respect the dominance. Respect it.
The Lakers would have a better record with Kobe than they do now with LeBron. And that's it.
You know, Nick, I'm going to go ahead and
Kobe.
check that. I'm going to check that stat. The Lakers record with Kobe and then now with LeBron. I'll get back to you on that.
It's a different league.
But keeping it in the basketball theme, and Ray, just to say, transcends, we're talking about their effects on the game, not necessarily their athletic dominance. But in keeping it in basketball, Kobe Bryant is not considered the all-time great or compared regularly to Michael Jordan because he had to share the court with him. LeBron is constantly being compared to MJ, but he never had to face him.
How long did Kobe really share the court with him, though? Kobe got drafted in 96. Michael retired in 2004. So less than 10 years. Kobe retired.
That's a long-ass time.
Kobe retired in 2015, dude.
And Kobe actually passed my MJ on the scoring board. So why don't we have that discussion more often? And his gameplay is much more similar. I'm done. I'm the mediator.
Why don't we? He retired in 2015 or 2016. MJ retired in 2004. I think he spent more time sharing the court with guys like LeBron and guys like D Wade than he did Michael. I don't know why.
LeBron admitted that Kobe would beat him on a one-on-one.
I didn't say he wouldn't. I never said he wouldn't. I think that they have different styles of play. I think MJ and Kobe probably had really similar styles of play, even though I'm not an analyst. I can tell you definitely. But I think if it were a Kobe versus MJ types discussion, it's so hard, though. I never watched MJ play. I wasn't around for that era. I just remember Kobe's, when he was on the court, you knew, he was not going to let you down, bro. You were watching the court, the Lakers need 2 points. He was going to go down there and score it, no matter what. It did not matter what it took, whether he tore his Achilles, whether he tore his labrum. He was going to go out there and score it. This guy, I saw a video the other day. This guy tore his labrum on his shooting arm, and then went out and started shooting with his left and started making shots with his left. So, I think it was just a different mentality for him. I don't really think he ever had to, had the mentality of surpassing Mike. And maybe that's because he played with him and maybe because he knew he was better than him. But I don't know. I'm not really sure that the argument of Kobe not being mentioned because he had to share the floor with Mike is very convincing, solely because he shared the floor with guys like LeBron much longer than he did Kobe or Mike.
I got a crazy angle on this here. Kobe was a pretty serious guy. not always in the media, like wasn't always open to like constantly talking to reporters. He was like a very hardworking guy. What if Kobe wasn't as open to the media attention like LeBron, which I think is it's good that he did that because it's been a great PR move for him, obviously across his career. But what if the media got more from LeBron, so they were more interested in painting the picture of MJ versus LeBron because that was the better story because that's where they got more coverage. Just because Kobe wasn't that really willing or really cared enough to be part of that whole debate and discussion.
Ray's speechless. I love it. I love
I'm not. I mean, I was just gonna let you talk.
Okay. Look, in my opinion, there's not just MJ and Kobe, but I would also throw D Wade in there. Better basketball players than LeBron.
Dwayne Wade is a better basketball player than LeBron James.
Dwayne Wade in his prime, absolutely. And
If
Dwayne Wade played with no cartilage in either of his knees, meaning when he lands, it's bone on bone. That guy had. Now, can't deny that LeBron has brute strength and size and athleticism on his side because you can't doubt that. But I think Dwayne Wade was a better basketball player.
If you ask Dwayne Wade that, he'll disagree with you. He'll tell you that LeBron's a better basketball player than he is.
Talked to him the other day.
No, did you?
D-Wade had a crazy run, like when he was in his prime from 2004 all the way to 2010. He averaged 24, 27, 27.
How many MVPs does Dwayne Wade
30,
have?
26, 25. I'm not saying anything. I'm just looking at his stats saying like he really went hard in that 2004 to 2010 span.
LeBron's also like a politician in the NBA. He builds teams around him
because he's so good. Because he's so good. Like people want.
That's
what do you mean?
No. That's true. I'm not saying he's not, but I'm saying it wasn't like this back then, where an individual player had that much authority. I don't think it was the same back then. I don't.
Bro, LeBron won a championship in Cleveland with fucking, oh my god, what's this guy's name? This white dude. He's from like Australia or some
Kevin
shit.
Love.
No, Kevin Love's good. It was just
Delhi.
Yeah, Delhi, bro. With fucking Delhi, he won a championship with fucking Delhi, bro. Not to mention LeBron has 4 NBA championships, 4 MVPs, 4 Finals MVPs, 3 All-Star MVPs, and 2 Olympic gold medals. Dude, come on. Tell me how many MVPs does Dwayne Wade have? Tell me.
All right, doesn't really matter. Before we move on to the next topic, last question. Would you kiss LeBron if he asked you?
Yeah, dude, obviously.
That's what I want. I want that on record.
Like what? Like, for sure.
Nick, to answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
To answer your question, Kobe, all-time record with the Lakers is 836 wins and 510 losses. Taking into consideration the COVID year, the bubble year, LeBron is 221 and 336. Career-wise, LeBron is 908 and 488.
And that's to say that Kobe played for one team for his entire career, and LeBron has played for many. However, he has
LeBron lost
72 more wins
games.
than him.
LeBron lost like all those games with the Lakers. That's crazy. He's lost like 400 something games and 380 have been with the Lakers. LA Lakers, what the hell is going on? Because Anthony Davis is soft as hell. Guy can't stay healthy. You suck, AD.
There's something to be said there about that 336 out of 488. Anyways, next one. Who is the most dominant
If the Lakers suck,
athlete?
what's there to be said? LeBron can't run the entire floor by himself.
Ray, we
He's
get
one
it.
person.
Ray, we get it, dude. We get it. You'd kiss him among other things that we can't mention on the podcast.
He won a championship with the Lakers. All right, continue.
Keeping it in sports for one more time, who is the most dominant athlete in all of sports? And this is not just athletic ability, Ray.
We're
This
talking
is
straight
dominant.
dominance.
Just straight dominance and W's.
Dominance and W's.
Tiger Woods and his streak in the prime of golf, which is a professional sport, is the most dominant, in my opinion, by any athlete.
Agreed.
He was the world number one in golf for, Marco, how many years was it? And I think there was like a stat.
So,
Rory McIlroy has,
281 consecutive weeks at ranked number one. I believe earlier this year, Scotty, how do you say his last name? Scotty Scheffler was ranked number one. He would have to be consecutively number one for the next 5 years to have passed him, or something absurd like that. I don't know what the stats are exactly. I can look for them and get it back to you.
Yeah, my pick is Tiger Woods, and especially since this is not strictly on athletic ability, it's just a dominant athlete in their professional sport. And obviously, you have people like Serena Williams who absolutely dominated women's tennis for
23 Grand Slams.
Yeah, like just absurd, which I don't want to snub her either. Like that's a really close second in my opinion because what she did in a professional sport is ridiculous. And then you got to give like the Deion Sanders and Bo Jacksons, like the two-way athletes. That's extremely incredible to be able to play two sports at a professional level. But I think just overall dominance, Tiger Woods' run on the PGA Tour, especially with his age and the way he entered into professional golf, it was extremely impressive.
It's a double-edged sword being in a sport where you are the team, right? You don't have a team. You're playing by yourself. So everything is on you. And to be dominant for like Tiger Woods was for, I guess that's 5 years and change, maybe around 5.5 years that he was on the top. I mean, that's extremely impressive. And in sports, it's one thing to be good, but it's another thing to be consistently good, to stay healthy, keep your head clear and go out there and give it your all every time you're out there. So I definitely agree with Andres. My pick would be Tiger Woods as well.
I think
the Tiger Woods stat. He spent the 281 weeks as an undisputed number one, so 5 years in all the golf tournaments. Not one person was able to take his number one spot. And then if you go cumulative, all the time he spent as the number one golfer in the world was just over 13 years worth of his career. And the next best golfer is Greg Norman, and he's double what he spent double the amount of time Greg Norman did at number one. That's it.
I think we need to distinguish between individual sports and team sports for a second here. Because individual sports, I mean, we could be looking at bowling, we could be looking at ping pong, we could be looking at all the sports where it does not require you to depend on someone else. If we're looking at individual sports, Serena Williams is the most dominant athlete. 23 Grand Slams. That's it. That's all you have to say. 23 Grand Slam championships. Okay. If we're talking about team sports, then we're looking at guys like Tom Brady. Or does he have 6 Super Bowls, 5 Super Bowls? I don't know what it is. Dude, I have never seen someone turn it on like Tom Brady, bro. Never. I remember watching Peyton Manning one time. And I was like, this guy's incredible. But Tom Brady just turns it on. And, like, you just
7 Super Bowls.
Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls?
Yep. And I'll put the picture here with his fingers.
Are you serious? Oh, my God. What? Oh, because he won with Tampa Bay. Okay, yeah, okay. I was tripping out. Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls. That's more than any organization has in the NFL. But there's a certain point in time when you see Tom Brady and how he's moving down the field, and you just know that there's absolutely nothing that anyone in the field can do about it. Nothing. The defense cannot call anything that will throw him off guard. His dominance is felt through the TV, bro. It's incredible to watch him when he's in that mode. I'm going with Tom Brady for team sports.
I'm going to give the top 4, and then that's it. Tom Brady definitely for team sports. You got Tiger Woods, like we mentioned, Serena Williams, like we mentioned, and definitely someone we forgot that has to be up there is Floyd Mayweather in dominance. And it's easier to see that in an individual sport where someone is just way dominant than everyone else. But I think those four deserve it because dominance really is just it's consistency. If you could be the most consistent at your craft and you're good at your craft, then you become dominant.
Yeah, you're right. I like that. I like that big four right there.
Last comment. The Pittsburgh Steelers have the most Super Bowl wins as an organization in the NFL.
No,
and
they're
that
tied.
is a
They're tied
Oh,
with
they're
the
tied. Yeah,
Patriots.
they're tied. Yeah, well, they're tied with the Patriots,
6.
and that is for a whopping 6. Tom
Tom
Brady
Brady has 7.
himself has more Super Bowls than any individual organization, and we've been playing football for 60 plus years.
Yeah.
I think
That's
it's
just
crazy
abnormal.
to see what one football player is capable of. So, keeping that in mind and keeping it in trend, did O.J. Simpson commit murder, or is he truly innocent?
That boy did it. Come on. You see that guy? He did it. I don't know all the facts, so I don't want to speak on it. I've seen a few clips. I've seen the individual speak in different videos and things. That guy did it. That guy murdered somebody.
Two
OJ,
people.
if you hear this, I'm sorry.
You know, in America, lawyer the fuck up. If you could spend a lot of money on good lawyers, you're untouchable. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. He did it. He did that shit. He lawyered the fuck up, and they said, "Oh, you didn't do that shit," but he did that shit. So that's all I gotta say.
I detest what Nick just said right there. But anyways, when the opinion was of the OJ trial or the disposition was handed down when my dad was in law school, and he said that he had witnessed the greatest miscarriage of justice that he had ever ever conceptualized, that he could have ever seen, and that's because of how much evidence they had against this guy, dude. Like an overwhelming amount of evidence indicating that he committed both of these murders, that he had a motive for doing so. I mean, when you think of OJ, what do you think of? I think of him in the Bronco, fucking taking off down the highway. That's an innocent man doesn't do that. An innocent man doesn't take off in a Bronco speeding down the highway, man. Like
Ford absolutely loved that commercial.
They ate off that. But like you really, I watched the OJ.
Lawyer.
They watched. I mean, yeah, he did have an all-star lawyer like squad of lawyers, and I mean, rightfully so. He was a fucking super famous celebrity at the time. I mean, now people really don't like him for the obvious fact that he committed a double homicide. But the lawyers did was that they really turned it into a whole race thing. This was a time soon after or during the LA riots where it was very everything was very racially charged, and they used that to their advantage. They used the social climate to their advantage, and they made it seem like the white man's punishing the black man for something he didn't do, and they went off that theory. Like that was just it. I mean, why didn't the glove fit? Because it fucking rains and the humidity shrinks leather. If you leave your a fucking leather good outside, it's not going to look the same as it did when you left it out there. I promise you that. So
and I know they put that glove in the spin cycle in the microwave. They put some water on that shit. They put it in the spin cycle in the microwave. There was so much tampering of evidence going on up in there, and they probably had the jury all juiced up. Come on, what do you think, Ray?
Yeah, and I mean, they were able to pick majority African American jury, which was obviously toward their benefit because, as I said previously, it was a time of a lot of racial charging, and they created this narrative that it was white against black and blacks being punished for this and that, something he didn't do, and the jury bought it, and I mean the jury acquitted him, and That's that. But the man certainly committed double homicide without a shadow of a doubt. He wrote a book about it. The title was "If I Committed the Murder," if I did it, which detailed how he would do it and why he did it. Which was later he was being sued for wrongful death, which the wrongful death suit, they won that case because he fucking killed those people, right? Civil and criminal trials, they don't overlap, so the result of that civil trial had nothing to do with the criminal trial, and anyways, they couldn't have done anything about it after the fact. But OJ owed these guys a lot of money because of the wrongful death. And he wrote a book, and they stopped the book from being published. The families of the deceased went ahead and got the rights to that book, and they made a pretty creative title where it said, "If I did it," or no, "I did it," like O.J. Simpson, "I did it," and then they put "if," like in the eye of "I did it," like in a very creative way, so that they wouldn't be sued for any type of libel or slander.
We love a good old-fashioned grift.
Yeah.
And guys and gals watching, go watch This Is America, O.J. Simpson. Type that in. Go watch it on YouTube. It's Sacha Baron Cohen pretending he's a billionaire Italian interviewing O.J. Simpson and pretty much making fun of the fact that he got away with murder. And O.J. is not denying it at all. He's just kind of going with it. So that tells you something.
Yeah, I will tell you. I'm sure there's a handful of people out there who are not upset about OJ because as a result, the Kardashians came out of that. So, thank you, OJ. I guess I don't know. Next one, a little bit of a comic relief. Who is the best Batman?
Batman. I'm
Christian
not
Bale.
that was my favorite Batman. I haven't really watched all of them. I don't think. I just recently saw one with Ray and our other cousin Danny, which was the first time I had seen Batman since I was a little kid, and it was pretty damn good. So
Dark Knight,
Christian
baby.
Christian Bale was the one playing it, so that's my pick.
Yeah, I think Robert Patterson is it Patterson or Pattinson? Which one is it?
Patterson.
I think Robert Patterson is too soft for the Batman position, man. I really think he is. He looks like a vampire. He acts like a vampire. He's always going to be a vampire in everyone's eyes. That guy's Edward from Twilight. He can't be a Batman. I mean, dude, the Batman movie was okay, right? It was long as shit. But I mean, it was also very cinematic. I wanted to see some more bone crushing, some more fucking, you know what I mean? But it was a good movie. I don't think Robert Pattinson's a great Batman. The costume that he's wearing sucks. It looks so soft. As a result, Christian Bale, you are the Batman that I think of when I think of Batman.
I didn't know that Edward from Twilight was ever Batman, but that's interesting to know. Yeah, I'm going to go with Christian Bale, but only because he was Batman when Heath Ledger was the Joker. And Heath Ledger is the
incredible.
man.
He's incredible. He was incredible.
And since Heath Ledger's the man, Christian Bale becomes the man. Because they're in the same movie.
Heath Ledger as Joker was absolutely incredible to watch, dude. He absolutely ate that role, bro. He became Joker. He started doing these little mannerisms. It was incredible to watch. I also just watched American Psycho for the first time, which also stars Christian Bale. That movie is kind of crazy stuff, man. If you haven't watched it, watch it. Watch a couple clips. Leave a comment on this. Let us know what you think of Christian Bale as an actor. I think overall he's a phenomenal actor. But let me know what you think of Christian Bale in that movie specifically.
Ray, I'll be the first one to answer. I was disappointed. I heard all this hype about it.
I know, right? I know.
Next one.
Yeah, go.
Electric cars are not better for the environment.
They're not better for the environment? Is it because of all the mining we need to do to get the other resources?
That's correct.
That is part of it. Yep, correct.
That's the argument, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like right now, it might be that case because of the scale that we're gonna need to mine these materials. But you could consider the same thing as us extracting oil. I'm sure that is just as bad for the environment. So I'd really need to do a little more homework on on like why,
I
but I
think
feel
it's
like
more so about the emissions than it is drilling for oil, or maybe they're equally as bad. But I think the argument between electric and gas powered vehicles is that the emissions from the car is what's particularly harmful to the atmosphere, whereas electric cars you're really just harming the earth itself by mining for these materials.
My limited knowledge and common sense tells me that my opinion as well is that in the long term view, electric cars are um, better for the earth than gas cars because with a gas car you need to keep using gasoline to allow it to run, and gasoline, the oil, is a non-renewable source of energy. There's a limited amount on Earth, and solar, electricity, is comes from the sun and is renewable. And so I think long term, even though like I know it's very harmful and bad for the earth to create the batteries for these cars, probably long term, my guess would be is that electric is better than a gas powered car for the earth, just because we could use a renewable source of energy.
yeah, I'm in that same camp too. Like I don't know enough, but just the concept of the fact that we need to keep producing oil and gasoline for the cars, and that's always going to be an issue, especially because that's not like an abundant resource that every nation just has unlimited access to. So it causes some problems from that perspective. But like Nick said, with solar and like our recent discovery with fusion and nuclear that we're going to keep pursuing, I think in the 25, 30-year like outlook, electric vehicles will be better for the environment. Just currently at the scale we need to produce them and how new we are to the technology, there hasn't been a lot of innovation within the battery. It's been more focused on the outside of the vehicle and making sure that it's a marketable car that'll sell and stuff like that. So I feel like it's so new still. So long term, we'll see more sustainability and it'll be better for the environment.
I mean,
Sorry for Marco, the lover of combustion engines.
as Nick said, I mean it's a limited resource, gasoline or oil is. So there needs to be an alternative before we start taking drastic measures to start finding this oil, which will further harm the earth and which will perpetuate the emissions that are being released into our atmosphere. Like I said before, I don't know how harmful collecting the resources for electric cars are. Like Nick says, common sense dictates that emission-wise, obviously, solar-powered vehicles are better for the earth, better for the environment. And I think that through the progression of science, through the progression of innovation, that there will be different ways to harvest this electric power that won't explicitly rely on mining deep in the earth or whatever the case may be. So yes, I think that electric cars are certainly better for the environment than the gasoline cars.
Ray, I believe your dad used the term when he was on the show, drop some knowledge.
Yeah.
Per the U.S. Energy Information Administration, I just read here, most of the nation's electricity in 2020 was provided by or powered by natural gas, nuclear energy, and coal. And this was in 2020. Just something to think about there.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's why it's important to have like a longer outlook on it, because solar is still so new and really expensive. So it's not something that's widely adopted, but like I said, I think in 20 to 25 years, everybody will have solar panels on their roofs and we'll be able to get the net cost of energy pretty damn close to zero. And that's why I think a lot of these legacy autos are pivoting and putting way more time into EV vehicles than they were originally. And again, we're not super versed in this, so I'm using common sense. But if these massive corporations are that worried that one company like Tesla, or I mean some smaller ones, Rivian and Lucid, are going to take so much market share from them that they can't sell their regular engine cars, that they have to now pivot and really put an emphasis on being part of the EV space tells me something. And typically, these companies are trending outward 5, 10 years down the road. They're doing things now that are going to come into effect in 2030, 2035. And I think from a big company standpoint, we've seen a lot of people start to put their foot forward and be an electric vehicle company, or at least offer a good amount of electric vehicle options. But I do think that now the energy and the electricity that we use is powered by the natural resources that power a combustion engine car.
And we'd be having a really different conversation if we didn't know how to capture energy from the sun, solar energy. But like, for example, there's a company, and Tesla doesn't do it, but there's a company called Aptera, and their cars, you pretty much, whatever, you go to work, you come back, you park the car in the parking lot, and if the sun's out that day, your car recharges 40 miles just sitting in the sun. And so, if you take that kind of thinking, like, you don't have to do anything to recharge your car. It doesn't cost you anything. You didn't need to go get anything. It just sits and absorbs the sun. So I think, like we're all saying here, longer term view on it is probably net positive for the earth on the solar.
All right. Well, with that one, I'm going to bring us to our last one, and I hope that car brand, Nick, I hope no one in Seattle owns it. Next, this is my last one, and I'm off, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's true.
Even though I'm there, present, listening every week. So, global warming is a myth. Knock your socks off, guys. Thank you, guys.
Global warming is a myth. I would love. I don't know like the research, so feel free to bash me in the comments. I don't care at all. But I do think that it has its tendencies to be maybe not a full-on myth, but definitely not as serious as people say it is. A lot of these, and I don't want to make this political, but it seems like the far left side is the one that pushes the hardest for it. There's just these tons of money flowing into this global warming, protect global warming, and it just seems very odd to me that it's just so divided on this topic. Like if it was something that's concrete and there's a ton of evidence and it would be really easy to pitch people on it, I feel like more people would not be so skeptical about it. But personally, it's been way colder. I don't even know if this has anything to do with it, but it's been way colder in Miami the last few years. I feel like when it really gets cold, and I don't know. I don't think it's getting hotter. Like I don't feel like it's getting hotter. I get that some glaciers are melting and stuff, but I feel like maybe there's some science behind it that I don't really know about. But
It's climate change.
I don't. What?
Climate change and global warming are kind of interchangeable terms.
Yeah. So I don't know. I personally am not buying all the jazz around it and all the money that needs to go towards it. And I think that as a world, we're getting smarter and we're doing what's necessary to be more conscious about our emissions, be more efficient, put less crap into the air. I think we're already doing that because that's what innovation is all about. Like something that we figured out 10 years ago that we didn't know anything about is going to be better today than it was when we found out about it. And I think that's with everything that we have to offer. Obviously, there's some big corporations that are kind of slimy and maybe putting some toxins up in the air and doing some shady shit. But I think overall, it doesn't play out to be anything too serious, and science overtakes it, and we figure out how to avoid any issues.
Well, I don't know shit about shit, and most people that talk about global warming being a thing or not being a thing just go off what they hear on the news, and I don't think that's a good way to give my opinion, because that wouldn't be my opinion. Then it would just be shit that I hear and don't know shit about. But what I do know is that the Earth has gone through periods of
Blah, 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 boo. Boo.
what a dick, guys! Guys, comment down below how much of a dick Ray is.
That is like the most prototypical like response to climate change. The Earth goes through periods of cooling and heating. I continue
No, that's not what I'm about to say. Like,
all right.
when I was studying biology and the history of the Earth and all that, the Earth, like my boy Ray doesn't want me to say, it goes through periods of changes in the climate, and not to say that that's replacing what global warming would be considered, but I do think that like the climate that we experience day to day can't stay the same all the time, because history tells us that's not how the Earth works. Like there's been periods of extreme cold, like the Ice Age, and there's been periods of extreme heat that is so extreme that it like kills off like 96, 97% of the species on Earth. So my answer is I don't know, and I don't know if like this, what do they say, that we're like 2 degrees warmer or 3 degrees warmer than we were 100 years ago or something like that. Like I don't know if that's like the start to something extreme, but I do know that you can't expect things to stay the same, because to me that's the definition of insanity, of it expecting things to stay the same throughout time. So that's my answer, and it's not really an answer, but it's an answer in a way.
I just want to say that I can't understand why science has become a partisan issue. I mean, everyone's a fucking scientist nowadays, I guess. Like, I will never understand it, but I think it's ignorant to believe that global warming does not exist. I think it's completely ignorant, and I mean, you're just not looking at the damage that we have dealt.
Well, then I'm ignorant, bro. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no, you are. I think that you're not looking at the damage that we
Big
have
scientist over here. Let's hear it. Let's hear the facts on this one.
It's ignorant to think that we haven't caused damage to the planet, dude. I mean, think about it.
Ray, dude.
You tell me how we couldn't cause damage to the planet with the amount of people we have in the world. Like, you tell me what we should be doing.
Well, I'm not saying that we.
Hang on.
I don't have a solution.
Ray, let me give you an intro. Ray is so in touch with the Earth that he knows exactly what it feels and doesn't feel. So Ray's about to tell us what the Earth feels.
I don't have a solution. Like I'm not a scientist. I don't know, but thinking that we didn't have an effect on the progression of the climate on Earth because of what we've been putting into the atmosphere and what we've been harvesting from the Earth, I think that's ignorant. I mean, since the Industrial Revolution, which was, I don't know how many 100-something years ago, like you said, the climate, the temperature has gone up 2 degrees. That's pretty significant in 100 years. It can only get worse.
Ray, but do you understand what the argument for global warming is? Like what the true, like the full length argument is?
It's that we've been putting things into the atmosphere that has eroded the ozone, or a certain level or a certain layer of the atmosphere that has allowed more sunlight to come through, and it's heating the Earth.
But it goes further than that. It goes to that we've caused so much damage to the Earth that like there's essentially no coming back unless we meaning Earth won't be able to host
life,
living, breathing organisms, right? And that we're gonna all just die from what we've done to the Earth.
I'm not gonna die.
In the last 100 years, when Earth has been around for almost 5 billion years, that's a tough scientific fact for me to think is totally accurate.
I mean, like you said, you're not a scientist either, so I can't take your word on that. But however, we've since the Industrial Revolution, which was, I don't know, 100 years ago, I need to know when that is. It's like a very significant moment in time. But since then, like you said, the temperature has risen 2 degrees, and that's significant for 100 years, dude. Like, next 100 years, what is that going to be, 4 degrees? After that, 6 degrees? Like, it's going to get to a point where you can't live in Arizona. It's going to get to a point where you can't live in Nevada. I mean, I think
you don't trust the science. Then you don't trust that science will facilitate ways to avoid this down the road.
I didn't say that. I did not say that at all. I just said that if you don't believe in global warming, that you are ignorant. That's all I've said. And I've said that because of everything that we have put into the atmosphere, eroding that level of the atmosphere, allowing more sunlight in, the Earth is warming for that reason. It's not a sporadic, a systematic heating of the Earth. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to prevent it. I'll listen to the scientists that have studied the science on it in order to take the measures necessary. I'm not going to recycle, though. Fuck that. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Where when our scientists are saying that the Earth has warmed 2 or 3 degrees, whatever it is, I don't know anything. So I guess that's, you take their word for it, right? So in that sense, like, sure, I could acknowledge that's true. But what I'm saying is the full extent of what the fight against global warming is, that we're gonna bring the Earth to a point where nothing's going to be able to survive on it. That's the part that I'm just like, man, I don't know about that, because the Earth itself is alive as a whole, and it has defense mechanisms towards things just like humans do.
I think that's completely like reasonable, though. I think that certain parts of the Earth will be uninhabitable. Like people will not be able to live there. Like there has to be a portion somewhere in the desert of somewhere where it's just going to be like no one could ever live there because of how hot it is. There's going to be somewhere in the continental United States, or maybe not even the continental United States, somewhere else where it's going to be like you cannot live here because the quality of air is so bad. You cannot live here because the amount of exposure that you get from the sun is so severe that you won't live to X amount. I'm not saying that the Earth is going to die. I don't know that. I haven't seen that the Earth is going to die. I've seen like people being like, there's been catastrophic effects on the Earth due to global warming. It's irreversible. Maybe so, bro. Have you seen the fucking floating island of trash in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? I don't know. That's a little fucking. That's not cool at all. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know the science on it. I'm not a scientist. I will defer to the knowledge of the scientists on it because, like I said, I'm not a scientist. When I go to the doctor because I don't feel well, he tells me my glucose levels are down. You're probably right, doctor, because I'm not a fucking doctor. I can't sit there and be like, nah, you're wrong, bro. You're not right about that.
Dude, I could tell by looking at you that your glucose levels are way down.
That's what I'm saying.
Way down.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm not a doctor, and
That's
I just can tell.
That's what I'm saying. It's the same shit. The same shit happened with COVID, where everyone became a fucking infectious disease doctor overnight. You just don't trust the science. I don't understand at what point we stop trusting the science and the human evolution.
Marco,
What's up, man?
give us your opinion on global warming, on the hot topic.
Well, like Andres said earlier, I'm a combustion engine guy. I love cars, so burning oil is like one of my favorite things. I do think the Earth is getting warmer by the era. I think it's significant that we are getting fewer hurricanes in Miami, or what we're exposed to, far and fewer hurricanes. But when they do arrive, they are these monsoons of rain and wind that are bigger than anything we've ever seen. So those patterns are odd. But to back where I think it's a myth, if you are a investor, why are you going to sign off a mortgage or some sort of loan for a condominium to be built on Miami Beach, on Ocean Drive, or whatever oceanfront coastal city, when you don't know if your money is going to be returned? Using the Florida Keys as an example, you're not even allowed to build on the first floor. You have to be on stilts. So at what point, I think I'll 100% say it's going to be impact us when the banks start pulling out of these huge coastal cities that run the risk of going underwater within the next 15, 20 years.
All right, Nick, give us our outro.
Guys, that's our spiel. Three's the crowd's the deal. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Right? Thank you for watching. Subscribe to all that good stuff. Touch the buttons on your phone that let us know that you enjoy our podcast, or shit on us. We don't care. Just give us some feedback. And thank you for watching episode Shit on Ray. Guys, it's easy to shit on Ray. Come on. I saw a bird do it the other day. Next episode will be 13. That's 12 plus 1, 13. We're going to sign out. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Have a great morning. Have a great day.